Know your true role. John the Baptist knew exactly where he was. And he knew exactly what his role was. And his role, by the way, is our role. It's to point people to Jesus. That's our role. And when we keep that straight, this comparison thing falls kind of to the wayside. That's like the running back getting mad at the receiver for scoring a touchdown. We don't get mad at the receiver for scoring a touchdown. We're just glad the team is winning, right? And so this comparison thing becomes problematic when it's a spirit of comparison. Spirit of competition is good, right? Because the spirit of competition says we all win. So you say, well, you mean we're in competition with other churches? Absolutely, we're in competition with other churches. And we want them to win. And we want all of us to win, right? Because we're on the same team. That's like the linemen being excited that the linebackers made a blitz and a sack and it happened properly. Yes, there's the competition. And watch what he says in verse 28. You yourselves know how plainly I told you, I am not the Messiah. I am only here to prepare the way for him. He plainly told them. He never let them think more highly of him than they should have thought of him. He never missed an opportunity to remind them, I am not the Messiah. You know what that tells me? There were plenty of opportunities for him to be confused with the Messiah and to take credit for that. There were plenty of people that were thinking he is the Messiah. Now think about that for a minute. I don't have that problem. You may have it, right? The people may come around you and go, wow, man, you're so great. You're such a great person. You're so beloved by the public, right? So many people want to be your friend. They want to be around you all the time. Are you the Messiah? I think if that question came to you on a regular basis, what would you do if you were confused by people as the Messiah? What would you do with that? Are you the Messiah? What would you do with that question? No, maybe. I don't think probably. If you say so, right? But what does John do with this? He tells them plainly and every chance he gets. He does not buy into the hype, and he tells it like it is. Why? Because he knows his role, and he knows his place, and he knows what he was put here for. He does not try to inflate his standing to match his inflated ego. He knows who he is. Guess who else knows who he is? Jesus. And because John the Baptist knew his role, he was made very special in the kingdom of God. Don't miss the application. When you know your role, you are something very special in the kingdom of God. In fact, over in Matthew, listen to how Jesus describes John the Baptist. John is the man whom the scriptures refer to when they say, look, I'm sending my messenger ahead of you, and he will prepare your way before you. I tell you the truth, of all who have ever lived, none is greater than John the Baptist. Now, is Jesus saying that John the Baptist is the greatest person to ever live? I don't think so. Maybe he was saying no one's better because we're all equal before God. But let me tell you what I think he's saying. And what I do know for sure is that when you play your role, no one is better than you at being you. And when you do what you were made to do and be who you were made to be, you are the best you in the kingdom of God. And so when we know what our role is and we fulfill our role, Jesus Christ honors us. Imagine that. That's what he does. And so when you get a glimpse of the impact that you can have by simply doing what God asks you to do, then you don't want to compare yourself to someone else. You don't want to be envious to someone else and someone else's calling, or wish that you had a different calling on your life. To be great in the kingdom of God is to be obedient to what God has called you to be and to do what God has called you to do. Hear me, listen. I don't want to be the next Martin Luther King. I don't want to be the next Andy Stanley. I don't want to be the next Billy Graham. I want to be the best Alex Hamaya the world has ever seen. And hear me, you need to be the best you the world has ever seen. And you got to quit looking in that mirror and viewing yourself as a scaled down version of somebody else. They got the sunroof and the fat tires and the alarm and all of that stuff. No. You got all of that too. God put in you everything you need to be you. If you needed to be taller, you'd be taller. If you needed to be tanner, you'd be tanner. If you needed to be smarter, you'd be smarter. God put all of what He wanted in you to accomplish His goal and His vision and for you to reflect Him appropriately. You are the loaded down version of you. And no one can be what you were meant to be, and no one can do what you were created to do. Remember what Paul told Timothy? We just did this in the last series. Remember what he said? Fully carry out the ministry. What ministry? The ministry that God gave you, Timothy. And it applies to you today. And the truth that we need to embrace is to stop playing the comparison game.